Incoming!
This is Darth Brimstone, and I am here with a little something for you today. And I think Disney is crapping their pants at this point. So I found this article on Screen Rant this morning, and okay, so it's officially time to stop listening to those Star Wars is dead takes. I'm sorry, but you know what? People have been saying that since The Last Jedi. So what has changed that Star Wars is that Lucasfilm and Disney are actually scared? Well, this answers your question. 1.5 million households watched The Mandalorian Season 3 finale early last year. So 1.2 million watched the Ahsoka premiere. So that's 0.3 million people that dropped off between shows. So like they said, a lot of social media and a lot of sites are declaring that Star Wars franchise is dead. But according to this article, they're saying it's due to female-led series. And that's a falsehood. Because none of us have ever said it's because there's women in Star Wars. That's just the line that Disney keeps pushing. Women have always been part of Star Wars. We wouldn't have Star Wars if it wasn't for Marsha Lucas. She fixed that movie in the editing room and saved a franchise in its crib. We've had countless women shape and mold this franchise from day one. One of which was probably the head. I believe it was the head writer for Return of the Jedi. But this is crazy that they keep pointing out that they keep saying, "Oh, it's because it's because men hate women." Well, what kind of fucking crack are you smoking? We love women in Star Wars. You know what? Patty Jenkins had Rogue Squadron as her movie. We never said a word. Why? She had the background. She had the knowledge. She knew the franchise. She knew the fan base, and she knew what the hell she was doing. It was Kathleen Kennedy who canceled her movie. So she had a female director. She had a movie that the fans were pretty well behind. And she canceled it. And for this. So she booted a woman out to get somebody who has never directed a feature film other than a couple of documentaries. Which, by the way, she was a journalist, so going around and talking to people is what she did for a job. So it's not like that took a whole new skill set of hers into account. And she never had a formal film education. Actually, here, I'm going to play this for you.
In the world of film and TV and
I might have to pause
Thank
this.
you. It's good to be back at the Age of Society.
Great to be here. So I wanted to begin by asking you, Charmaine, of course, as I mentioned, you have this incredible ability to work, as Rachel mentioned, in so many different...
My body of work over the last 20 years has been guided by my activism, and every single piece of work that I've ever created has a piece of activism in it. It could be very overt or it could be covert, but it is there. And I think that as a storyteller, I'm not sure if all of you know this, but I'm not a trained filmmaker. So I never went to film school. I went to Smith College and did my...
Sorry, I'm just trying not to get hit by copyright for the Age of Society here.
undergraduate and studied economics and political science like a good Pakistani girl. I did my graduate studies, but also in international politics. And so I am an accidental filmmaker. But that's why I'm a storyteller, because at the heart of everything, I like to tell stories. And when I started as a journalist, very young, at the age of 14 in Pakistan, it was guided.
So, you just caught that, right? No filmmaking training whatsoever. And she just got handed a major feature film for Lucasfilm.
I felt a great
Her
disturbance
only
in the
directing
force.
credits, other than
As
her
if millions of
documentaries,
voices suddenly cried out
2
in
episodes
terror.
of Miss Marvel. And they had to be reshot, I believe, multiple times.
Guided by my activism of inequality, and I think that speaking to people, finding out what the story is, embedding myself into communities, and really getting people to trust me is the way I have forged my career. So
she's trying to embed herself in communities. Well, this is a fictional community, so you can't embed yourself in a Jedi Academy, because there is no Jedi Academy, not in real life. So what is she gonna do? Is she gonna read the new Jedi Order books? Well, you know what? Those aren't relevant to her new story, because they were based on Luke Skywalker, his Praxium, his child, and Luke and Leia's children, which don't exist in Disney's world. So that is why I don't want her directing a Star Wars movie. It is not because she is a woman. It is because she has no motherfucking experience. Patty Jenkins had a shitload of experience. Now, I want to show you this. These are the Samba TV numbers for Ahsoka. And actually the season finale of Mando. So, Samba TV collects data from televisions in approximately 2 million U.S. households. First reported 863,000 households tuned into the Ahsoka finale, compared to 1.5 million for Mando's season finale. Follow-up waned. It previously had 1.2 million for the premiere. So like I said, not because of a female-led series, it's just the quality of the product is dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and nobody is watching it anymore. Disney previously announced that 14 million global views. With that in mind, it's important to remember the show's 8th installment would have drawn far more than its 863,000. How much? Your numbers are dropping terribly. Basically, it was the millennials, the older millennials that tuned in. But if you look at this, we'll go back here. Alright, so this is the Disney cover-up article. The success of Star Wars is now reliant on its live-action shows, which, by the way, are failing. They've been dropping off continuously. If you look, we'll go here. Here's our viewership numbers. 1.5 million households, Mandalorian Season 3. But interest in the Rebels follow-up Ahsoka has waned. Previously, 1.2 million households watched the premiere. As expected, a lot of sites and social media, yeah, obviously, like we already went over this. 863,000 viewers for the 8th installment. So that drop-off is huge. That means you did not retain your viewership. And we've consistently seen that with every Disney show. Start off bigger, but each time they start off bigger, they're starting off lower than the bigger that they had for the last show. And by the end of it, like Those finales before were topping out at over 1 million. Now we are at 863,000. And I do not expect the viewership for that Rey movie to go up, because people are not going to go see that. Especially with a director who doesn't know who doesn't know a camera from a freaking tea kettle. Though some people claim Star Wars is dead due to its recent cinematic releases, no, it's dead due to all the horrible content that is being put out. Disney has been puppeteering a corpse around since The Last Jedi. Every once in a while they put on an entertaining puppet show, but it's still a corpse. And they're just hoping the limbs and eyeballs don't fall out and scare the kiddies. And yes, it struggled with the film side of the franchise. Star Wars sequel trilogy was incredibly divisive, no shit, Sherlock. And is still widely debated on social media. Actually, it's more like a battlefield. Because if you don't like the sequel trilogy, you're the enemy, and if you like the sequel trilogy, we can't talk about it. Because the minute we start mentioning that we don't like it, we're ists and foes. Thanks, Disney, for that one, for putting that in their heads. So, this franchise was built its legacy on theatrical releases. Yeah, that's true. But also on the EU novels, which they like to forget here, because all we had in between those movies was the extended universe, or the expanded universe. And the EU built up this entire fan base. At least pre-Disney. And truthfully, post-Disney, we don't like. Oh, we'll watch the entertaining puppet show here and there, and pray to God body parts don't fall off on our beloved franchise. But it doesn't mean that we like it. We watch it because it's there. It's kind of like, we'll wait for it to... We won't watch it in theaters. We won't even watch it on Disney+. We'll watch it other ways. Watch it with friends. Watch it wherever, in a doctor's office or whatever. Just sitting in a waiting room. So, 5 years after the release of The Rise of Skywalker, plenty of directors and writers have come and gone. Rian Johnson's trilogy, gone. Thank God. Yeah, I love how they kept Patty Jenkins out of here. They're just completely ignoring the fact that they canceled off the first female director in Star Wars history's film. Basically they're saying that the films are hard to get into theaters, but these problems don't necessarily mean the franchise is dead, even though nobody wants to bloody well watch it. Guess what? Yeah, it kind of does. Because if you can't get people in the theaters to watch a fucking Star Wars movie, your franchise is dead. It is literally dead as a fucking doornail. Because you're not making money on Disney+. It's the theatrical releases that fund this franchise, and you can't keep them, and nobody's reading the books anymore because your books are shit. So what do we say? Star Wars is dead. Disney's just not letting the corpse fall. Now, they say here, special thanks to Disney Shillery, Star Wars is relying on much more than box office. The recent findings prove that the franchise is actually thriving. Well, I'd love to know how you justify that. Yeah, so they're saying that it's thriving because Disney Plus exists. And think about the ones that are actually thriving. People are watching Clone Wars. That's a Lucas property, not a Disney property. This
George
is
wrote
an
Clone
edit
Wars.
to this. George's daughter also wrote some of the best episodes of Clone Wars. The Mandalorian, yeah, season 1 and 2. People might still watch occasionally. Season 3, not as much. Book of Boba Fett, people don't watch that. Andor, well, okay, it has some viewership. Ahsoka, as we just said, the viewership just keeps dropping. Upcoming shows like The Acolyte. Yeah, I'm sure Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant will make a wonderful show. Wire Fu meets fucking soap opera. And Skeleton Crew. Well, actually, I do have some hope for that. Bryce Dallas Howard is quite talented, and she can pull that show off. At the very least, it'll be fun to watch. But I just figured I'd bring this out and show everybody because, well, I have a feeling Disney will pull it after a while. Mandalorian may not have released in theaters, but there's no denying the impact on popular culture. True, but that's for the first 2 seasons before Disney stuck their fucking nose in and fucked it all up. So, yeah, they're obviously having trouble with the MCU. DC Universe is even having problems. Like, theaters aren't doing well, and it's because the quality of North American product and film has gone to shit. Because our writing has gone to shit. Our writers' rooms are too large. There are too many fucking cooks in the kitchen. You need to shrink your writers' rooms. Because there's no continuity. There's no through line in your fucking storytelling. You're a bunch of jackasses. Fucking learn to write. And I'm going to leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful day. If you like the video, like the video. Please subscribe and take care of you and yours. And we out. Take care, everybody.